As some of you know, I collect records. Vinyl LPs were the medium through which generations of Americans purchased and enjoyed music, and I was in the last generation to do so regularly. I've hung on to my passion for that format all through the changes that we've seen in technology over the last 20 years. CDs, MP3s, streaming bits over the internet, and whatever comes next. When I'm not working or enjoying time with my family, I'm researching and collecting LPs. And while vinyl records will never have the same place in our culture that they once did, they've not exactly gone the way of the manual typewriter or the Rolodex, which are quickly becoming part of history, antique if they're not already. Instead, a small but devoted subset of music lovers are returning to, or in the case of young people, discovering anew, a deeply felt connection to vinyl. New and old music is being released on records. New pressing plants are starting up. Turntables are being sold in small but consistently notable numbers. In a recent article in the New York Times titled "The New Audio Geeks," those who have seen the changes in how we experience music explained why vinyl matters to them. One said that hearing music with such outstanding sound quality was a revelatory experience, adding that until you are aware of the real difference in quality between vinyl and most digital music, you don't know that you need it. Another quote. One of them said, "There's another layer to this that I wasn't aware of." Or, "I could buy a terabyte hard drive and store countless MP3s, but it's lost value to me. I'd rather hold a physical thing." Elsewhere in the article, the act of listening to well-crafted music on high-end equipment is described as a spiritual experience. There are two levels on which we can listen to music. On a more superficial level, we like a good tune. It makes the day more beautiful, more enjoyable, to pass a bit of it with music. But more deeply, when music is well written and well performed, and when we are able to listen to it with the best equipment available to us, it can totally transport us out of ourselves, heightening our joys, obscuring our problems, connecting us to other people who feel as we do. Good music, well reproduced, is transcendent. But you can't reach musical transcendence through a quarter-inch speaker on the bottom of an iPhone. Even if the song remains the same, the sound doesn't. Those who have made the choice and the effort to reach toward a deeper and more meaningful experience, for whom quality and connection are at the core of their lives, those people can and will find it. Now, as fascinating as all of that is, the reason I'm talking about this today is not only to discuss trends in how we experience music, or to alert you all about my record collection, although I am always available to speak about those things as well. Because it's not only audiophiles who seek these kinds of experiences. Transcendence is also what we expect from religion. The essence of a religious life is the desire to rise above the mundane, to find beauty and meaning through the beliefs and the actions that tradition has bequeathed to us. But we have allowed ourselves to let a superficial experience of Judaism, the equivalent of a religious quarter-inch speaker, to distort its sound. We've gotten so used to the way things are, so comfortable with the ease with which we can access information and communicate electronically, that we've forgotten how things might be. As easy as these tools have made modern life, they have simultaneously robbed us of a direct, hands-on experience of Judaism and of sharing time together in order to truly feel connected. Here's one example. This past year, we've begun posting the text of my Shabbat sermons and these video presentations of them online. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a terrific use of electronic communications, especially so for those who are homebound and unable to be in the sanctuary on a Shabbat morning or a holiday morning, or for those members of ours who are usually together in shul, but for whatever reason are absent on a particular day. We're using these tools to ensure that no one ever feels left out. But the text and the video on the synagogue website are not a replacement for being together in the same room at the same time, to hear Torah read and taught, to discuss its ideas and values together. Viewing the videos or reading my words are good, but they are mediated experiences rather than direct participatory ones. We have to be present in shul as often as possible in order to enter deeply and meaningfully into the words of Torah. Getting information is good. Learning together is transcendent. Another example. In addition to communicating information about upcoming programs and services, we use email. We use it to announce weddings and births and deaths. But by merely reading and then deleting those email messages, rather than translating their content into opportunities for connection, we are not entering into the experience of communal life. We've somehow forgotten that these things are not merely an FYI, but an invitation to celebrate with or to comfort our friends in need. In particular, when we see a death announcement that has Shiva information, each of us needs to check our calendars and see which night we can be with that family to be with them as they've suffered their loss. This is especially true of people we do not yet know. I know it sounds strange, but you can make no better first impression than to show up at a stranger's house for Shiva. Knowing about what is going on in each other's lives is good. Showering an engaged couple with candy at their ofruf is transcendent. One more example. For too many of us, the synagogue is not where we go because we are Jewish. It is where we go to be Jewish. But the deepest level of engagement in Jewish living, where we will hear its melodies and feel its rhythms most vibrantly, is in the home. Yes, you can and should come to shul whenever you can make it. But until we make Jewish ritual a part of our weekly and daily habits at home, we cannot hope to sing the song of our tradition. Shabbat table rituals and the cultivation of Shabbat as a day of rest and complete unplugging, daily prayer, a distinctive approach to our eating habits that reflects knowledge of and concern for kashrut, none of these should be foreign to any Jew. Visiting Shabbat at shul is good. Living it at home is transcendent. As with the new audio files, we too seek a revelatory experience, the deep, fulfilling feeling of authentic Jewish connection. We yearn for the deeply reverberating meaning beneath the easy information that we can find on the internet. We need to feel one another's presence in our homes and at shul. We want our questions answered in a serious and thoughtful way. And we need to be available to each other to share our answers with others who seek them. We should all be getting lulav and etrog each year and shaking them at home or at shul every morning of the festival. We all need to know how to take an aliyah to the Torah and even how to read Torah. These are the Jewish equivalent of the tactile experience of holding an LP in the world of music. They are the high-end audio of Jewish life, the vinyl that we should dig out of our closets and put on the turntable. If we want Judaism's music to transport us beyond the mundane, we have to have the best gear available. During the Yemim Noraim, the days of awe, the high holidays, we call out to God for the strength to recognize where we have gone wrong and the courage to change for the better. There are many forms of transgression, but the sin of our own indifference is one of the most pernicious, because it derives from the very ease of modern life. It's so easy to experience things superficially and passively, but we need to turn back to the physical and the personal experience of Judaism in order to hear its music. Now, in the conservative movement, I think that we are particularly well positioned to hear that music, since we assume a certain level of fluency with Jewish texts and practices, and because we work constantly to apply Jewish sensibilities and values to the real world. Conservative Jews persist in believing that tradition has a place in this rapidly evolving world, even if, like vinyl aficionados, we are a smaller community than we once were. Like the new audiophiles, we must embrace our old objects, the Torah, the Sukkah, Shabbat, and Havdalah candles, in order to feel the values and the lessons that we can hear in them. We should embrace the identity of a smaller yet devoted group, enthusiasts of a new kind of high-end Judaism. On Shabbat, the psalmist teaches us, Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, sing to the Lord a new song. It is not enough to do the same old thing. We have to do the old thing, but in a new way, with a new melody that suits our time. Ironically, we conserve tradition best when we change it, and reinvent ourselves best when we rediscover the tradition that we didn't even know we had. In the year to come, we must commit ourselves to the communal tshuva, repentance, of singing a new song to God. We will do so by learning the old words and the old rituals and investing them with the new melody of our own experience. Like high-end audio, high-end Judaism means having the best equipment and using it to reach the greatest emotional and spiritual heights that we can wish for. God is waiting expectantly today for us to turn back, to return to who we have been and who we can yet be. So whether you enjoy the classical elegance of the high holidays, the cool jazz of a leisurely Shabbat afternoon, or the rock and roll of a class discussion that veers through claim and counterclaim, when we argue our way through Jewish texts, the music is there for us, in full dimensional stereo, if we want to hear it in all of its glory. Coming together for the Yemim Noraim as we begin this year is good, but taking on a new identity as one of the few dedicated lovers of high-end Judaism will be transcendent. Shana Tova Tikatevu Etechamenu, may you be inscribed and sealed for a good year in the Book of Life.